I have come to the NASA Space Center in Houston. Cannot believe I'm here. It is a super hot day, but I'm super excited, man. Like, I'm a massive space fan, like a lot of you guys might know who follow the channel for a while. Love anything to do with outer space, so this is gonna be awesome, man. Just look at all of the, I'm gonna try and find some spaceships. Hold on a second. Like, guys, man, I really can't overestimate like how cool this is for me right now. You know, anybody that's watched like the old, you know, space launches with the shuttle, it's always like, Houston, we have a problem. So just being in Houston, like, forget about being like here, just being in Houston is so cool. But like, you know, to actually be in the NASA Space Center in Houston is just awesome. Like, so that's a life-size shuttle. I mean, it's a lot bigger than I thought it would be. Like, for some reason, I thought that this would be way smaller than this, but I suppose it needs to have enough space for, what, the 8 astronauts? Or is it 4? I think it's 4 astronauts. But yeah, so cool. I don't know why I'm taking a selfie video of me, you know, with all of this in the background, but I hope you guys can see how excited I am, man. I know the lighting's pretty bad in here, but yeah, it's just such a cool place to be. I don't think this is a life-size replica, like, of the rover. No, it's definitely not. I think this is probably like 4 times the size of it. But I could be wrong, to be fair. I mean, nah, I don't think this is a replica size. Simulator rides, $10. I would have thought that would have came with the ticket, but who knows? This is really cool. So this basically is like a graphic that shows the Earth and the distances of the other celestial bodies. So like the moon is 283,000 miles from us. And then Mars is 225 million kilometers. That's crazy. I mean, that puts into perspective. So, you know, 225 million kilometers from Earth. And then you've got Europa, which is, wow, over half a billion kilometers. Jupiter's massive. Like, you can't even get the whole of it in the in this graphic here. And then you got Titan, over 1 billion, and then you got Saturn. Yeah, pretty crazy. What is the bottom? Wow. United States Laboratory Module. So I'm guessing this is like the section of the International Space Station where they like conduct experiments and stuff. Yeah, this is pretty sweet, to be fair. So that's what the ISS must look like on the inside of the US module. So this is all the stuff that they've experimented on and everything. It's pretty cool. Guys, do you think it's too late for me to become an astronaut? Do you reckon they have any apprenticeships for NASA astronauts? Should I start taking the exams? Just got a ticket for the Tram tour, or 2 Tram tours. No idea what to expect. Mission Control. ISS updates. Stay current on International Space Station activities, the crew's daily work, research, and key milestones.
Includes 11 experiments and samples, which will be retrieved from the Missy platform after months on the exterior of the space station.
Wow.
These samples will further our understanding of how various materials respond to ultraviolet radiation.
Super interesting. I think there's a live stream of the of Earth from the International Space Station that like runs like constantly, like 24 hours a day, which I think is really interesting. Like, just to be able to see the Earth from the perspective of the ISS. You know, you get to see the rotation of it, you know, the curvature of the Earth. I suppose the another sort of like benefit of that is like, you know, people like the flat earthers who say that the Earth is flat. I guess this kind of like disproves that, because I just don't get personally, you know, the whole concept of the Earth being flat. Like, where does that even come from? Like, you know, the Earth clearly is round, isn't it? I mean, we've seen it be like, we know it's round. Wow, look at this guy. Robonaut astronaut helper. What does it say? Robonaut is an astronaut that is designed to use the same tools and do the same work as an astronaut. Robonaut can work on the International Space Station and could help explore the moon and Mars in the future. Robonaut was tested on the ISS and returned to Earth. An upgraded version of the robot will join the crew soon on the station. Wow, so it's actually tested. I didn't realize. I thought this was just still in R&D, that like they were still designing it. Really, really cool that they're going to use robots. To be fair, like, I do think we should, you know, because robots don't need food, you know, they don't need to sleep. They can just keep on working, right? You know, they can just keep doing science, you know. So it's 240 pounds. Wow, pretty big dude. So this is what an astronaut sleeps in. Crazy. So they lie, oh yeah, because there's no gravity. So they sleep lying upwards as if they were standing up. That's so weird. I suppose because there's no gravity, is there any sense of like up and down? You know, like what is up and what is down, if you know what I mean? Because you can float, can't you? So this is a toilet. Wow. That is so weird. Or as they call it, a waste management system. But where do they, so what do they number one and number two down this yellow little cap thing? The gift store. I'm like a kid in a candy store. There's just so much memorabilia. I could easily spend like $500 in here if I'm not careful. But I'm on a tight budget, so I'm going to watch my expenditure, or at least I'm going to try to. And this is the food court here at the NASA Johnson Space Center in Houston. Let's see what options they have. I'm trying to find a menu. Seems pretty cool. I love the decor at least. You've got like this massive like space montage thing. I just love all the space like imagery. I know that's what you would expect, you know, here at NASA, but it's just cool to see, you know, like look at this. Imagine having this on your wall. Just, I could stare at this kind of stuff all day. Annoyingly, I missed the kitchen by like 10 minutes. So I'm gonna have to stick with the grab and go food, which isn't too bad. In line for the tram tour. Let's go. I mean, I love that. Look at the imagery on that. Just with the American flag behind the astronaut and the big NASA logo. I'm fanboying over here, genuinely. I can't get enough of this kind of stuff. Ready to get on the bus. Let's go. Guys, as I'm sitting on this bus, it is so warm. It's got to be like 30 degrees out here, Celsius that is, which is like 95 degrees Fahrenheit, I think. And we are moving.
United States. JSC has been leading the nation in human spaceflight operations for over 60 years.
Wow.
JSC is comprised of 1,620 acres of land. Believe it or not, NASA was able to purchase all this land for the incredible price of just $25 back in 1962.
25.
How did we get that amazing bargain, though? Well, Rice University's Longhorns. That's right. Only at Johnson Space Center could you see rockets and prize-winning Texas Longhorns all in one place.
I think that's where they built the Saturn V.
This project was spearheaded by former Center Director George Abbey. This served as a way for NASA to give back to the local community. It's a wildlife sanctuary. A variety of different animals call this coastal prairie land their home. In fact, as we drive through the JSC campus today, keep an eye out for some white-tailed deer.
Wow, liquid nitrogen, that shit is explosive.
Aero program. This includes a simulated closed habitat that helps NASA researchers analyze the effects of long-term space missions on human behavior, health, and performance. As we return to Space Center Houston, we'll be making a brief stop at the George W.S. Abbey Rocket Park, where more space history awaits. This stop is optional. Inside the building, you'll find the biggest celebrity rocket here, the Saturn V. This rocket is one of only 3 left in the entire world. Particularly, the Saturn V rocket at Johnson Space Center is comprised of flight-certified hardware from the 3 canceled Apollo missions.
Like, it's just so much bigger. It's impossible to get me and the ship in the same frame. Like, I have to literally go on the grass, I guess. Like, it's just so big. Wow. This one's pretty cool as well. I'm not sure which one this is. Oh, it says it right here. Well, duh, Kabir. Like, of course there's going to be a sign on it. So it's the Mercury Redstone putting the first Americans in space. Wow. So is this the first American spaceship that went to space? Wow. Look at the size of the engine. It is literally bigger than a lot of cars, I'd say. Look how big this Saturn V is. I mean, it's hard to put into words how big it is. You have to literally be next to it to like get an idea. It is massive. I genuinely think this is about the same size as the plane that brought me here from London. Like, this is, it is enormous, guys. It is so big. I wonder how many times I've said the word big in this video so far. Saturn V rocket. Most powerful rocket in space. This thing is fucking huge. So NASA built the Saturn V rocket to send astronauts to the moon. A heavy lift vehicle, the Saturn V could lift the equivalent of about 10 school buses into orbit. The Saturn V launched manned Apollo program missions from 1968 through 1972. It was also used in the 1973 to launch Skylab, the first American space station. Wow. To carry 3 astronauts. So all of this was to carry 3 astronauts. That's insane. I thought the crew would be a lot bigger than 3. I thought the crew would be like 8 instead of 3, but because like this, all of this to carry 3 people to the moon. I mean, this thing, and it was one and done. Like, you know, you use it once and that's it. It's not like SpaceX where they're reusable. So the expense to send these 3 astronauts to the moon must have been enormous. I mean, like, how do they even, like, look at how intricate all of the wires and the cabling and all the pipe work and everything is in this engine. You know, it just looks so intricate. And all of it has to work for the ship to work. Like, you see what I mean? Like, just, there's like, we're looking at about probably hundreds of pipes. I just don't know how they even designed this, because they designed this, what, in the 60s? Man, I really applaud, you know, the scientists of the day, of those days, because they didn't have I mean, they had computers, but nothing like we have today. And they went to the moon, and we haven't been back to the moon. Look at this. Look how big this cavity is. So this is like a hollowed out Saturn V. I mean, look at that guy's head for scale. Big. Seeing this in the flesh makes me think about how much money and time and effort it must have cost to build something like this. You know, not just because of the actual size of it, but the amount of science that went into this thing. Like, this thing probably had like hundreds, if not thousands, of the smartest people working on it. you know, just to send 3 people into space. And I'm saying just, you know, as if that's like some small thing, but you know, I'm thinking in today's money, this must have cost billions and billions of dollars. You know, money well spent, in my opinion.
In 2017. With this technology, we can send our astronauts up into space more frequently and at a much lower cost. This will become especially important as we establish an orbital lunar science station and an outpost on the surface of the moon over the next 20 years. Next to the Falcon 9, you can see a mock-up of the Space Shuttle Independence on top of the real Boeing 747 shuttle carrier.
Wow. This might just be the most impressive thing I've seen so far here. I mean, the Saturn V was hard to beat. Look at this, the actual space shuttle that went into space.
Actual 747 in a prototype shuttle called Enterprise. John Kuiper's vision had become a reality built from moments of inspiration, followed by years of sheer hard work.
No, it was a money and the time, a lot of other things, I guess, became a factor. So I decided to take the engines off and to have more room for payload. So then the problem became one of trying to get the orbiter from California to the Cape. And then after every mission,
It's one of the strangest sights in all of humanity. When they're outside on spacewalks, also speed track. Things will float away if you don't have integrity. Of course, space.
Sorry guys, I know it's super dark in here, but yeah, this has really been definitely one of the funnest things I've done in a long time. I mean, just look at everything around here. There's just so much. I suppose because of the massive history of NASA and all they've done in terms of spaceflight, they've accumulated so much hardware. Like, you know, this is all stuff that's, you know, been into space before. Like, they've just got so much of it that they've displayed out here. And I think it's amazing because obviously most of us aren't going to get to go to space. So like this is like the closest we're going to get, but it's brilliant seeing so many artifacts like this that have actually been out there. I think it's brilliant.